Hello, you're listening to Those Crazy Weirdos. I'm Martine.
And I'm Cameron. Welcome back. This is episode 3.
Yeah.
And we're filming it. Well, filming. We're not. Yeah, I always say that. I actually always say we're filming the podcast. I don't know why I do that. And then I correct myself afterwards every time saying, no, we're recording it.
Mm-hmm. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. That's it. You're just going to leave the filming thing. You're just not going to comment. Just look at me like I'm an idiot and move on. Okay, fine.
Sorry. You are correct. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I see what you mean. I think a lot of people also refer to like watching a podcast, not listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast today where they were talking about just that.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
So, you hit the nose on the nail. The nail on
You hit the nose on the nail. Oh my
nail
god,
on
it's
the
so
nose.
good. I have a sip of the tea again. We have tea again, as always.
I'm Cherry.
Oh, like cherry tea.
Well, yeah.
Okay, when you say I'm Cherry, it really sounds like I just imagine Don
I've changed
Cherry.
my name, guys.
Sounds like Don Cherry. It reminds me of Don Cherry. Yeah.
Makes sense. You were just walking hockey.
Walking hockey?
Watching. This is going to go great. I can't speak.
Wow, what a good start, eh? I'm walking hockey.
I was sorting boxes today.
Yeah.
Of my old like elementary school things. I came across a plastic bag with a necklace with a bunch of hearts on it. And inside the bag was a little note. And it was in French because I went to school in French. But I'll translate it in English for the listeners. It said, I love you a lot, Martine. I like your smile. I like your eyes. I like your hair. From, and then like the guy who had a crush on me when I was in elementary school. I found another page that had like I love you so much on it.
What?
Really weird. And then I found an invitation to his birthday party, and my mom like writes all the details about everything on the invitations, and she put declined, did not attend, and then underneath said Martine did not want to go, and she underlined.
Why? Oh my god, that's actually so mean though.
I know.
Wait, why did she like... Oh, but that's just her personal notes, right? Like
that's her personal... Yeah, she didn't say that to them, but she just wrote that.
Sorry, I thought this was the reply to the RSVP. Martine does not want to go. Like, could you imagine?
Jeez, that'd be savage.
That'd be so bad for that kid. Yeah. That kid would just be absolutely destroyed. My crush.
I know. Although apparently, also part of her notes, she put that she invited the whole second grade class to his party, and I was the only one not attending. And I was like, oh boy.
Oh, so she wanted you to go?
I don't know. I mean, obviously he wanted me to go.
No,
but I thought it. I thought it was rather funny that I just didn't.
Is it because you didn't like him or what?
Yeah, no, I didn't like him back. Yeah.
So this is an interesting point about French. You said it was in French.
Yeah.
So I guess you're saying I love you.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel weird because you would say je t'aime gros, is that it?
Je t'aime beaucoup.
Je t'aime beaucoup.
Yeah.
That means I love you a lot. But how do you say you like someone without saying you love them in French? Could you do that?
I don't know. We've had this conversation a bunch. But
I don't know if maybe I have asked you this before.
Yes. But there were hearts all around it. And I mean, like,
yeah, that definitely seems like a...
He definitely had a crush on me. I didn't realize, though, that he went to, like, writing notes to me. I didn't remember that at all.
That's, like, intense for an elementary... Are we talking, like, early elementary?
Yeah, it was grade 2, I think.
Oh, well, then it's harmless. Okay,
it is harmless, but I didn't like it. I remember him, like, racing me. He wanted to pull out my chair after we got back from recess. So he would...
Oh, to, like, make you fall on your ass?
No, just to be like a gentleman, to pull out my chair.
Oh, so okay, yeah, because it was a big thing at my school. Like, you know, you'd pull out the chair right as people go to sit, and they'd fall on their arse. Like,
yeah. No, but I remember it pissed me off because he'd always do that, and I guess I was just like, I can pull out my own chair, so I would like literally raise him to my chair to get there first, so he couldn't do it, and then it like we'd get there at the same time, and then he'd like be like, haha, that was fun. And I'd be like,
oh, that's so awkward.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I'm not in second grade anymore.
No. Oh, yeah. That's awful. God,
Isn't it terrible?
I can pull out my own chair. Are you the kind of person then who like, but you don't mind when I hold the car door open for you?
Well, no, but I'm also like 20 years older.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I was wondering if you were gonna be like, my next question was, okay, what about guys opening doors for girls?
No, but
like nowadays, like car doors.
Okay, fair enough. But I think back then it was the equivalent of if I couldn't get out of the car without you opening the door for me. Like he did it every time.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I was like feeling smothered
Well,
as
it
a
definitely
second grader.
definitely loses its romance after the like fourth or fifth time in a row, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, you could stop now. You get the point. Like it becomes annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, should we move on to the first section?
Yes, let's do it. Cue the theme tune.
You don't say.
Yes, quite.
Indeed, indubitably.
Indubitably.
So what don't you say today, my love?
Okay, this is something I found on the Weather Network app. Other weather apps are also available.
We're not like the CBC here. You're allowed to say the Weather Network.
It's just covering my butt. Okay, this is a news story / fact. Anyways, listen to this.
What?
What do you think that is?
What? It sounds like a naked man screaming in agony.
I enjoy that you used naked.
That's what it sounds like.
Let me play you another one of the same thing.
It sounds like a child, like a man child. I don't know. Okay, I bet you this is something really weird, like a koala or something. Like, I don't know. What is it?
You're not far off. It's, this was taken in Northern Ontario.
Of course.
And it's two male lynxes screaming at each other.
It's two.
Well, like they're having a face off. And they're facing off by doing that noise to each other.
That's the intimidating. Oh my god. God, yes. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Northern Ontario. Apparently, it's uncommon to see them though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they are cats, so it is expected for them to make sounds like that.
It doesn't sound very much like it doesn't sound very feline to me. I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds otherworldly for sure.
It sounds like a man child.
Dude, just imagine you were camping and then you heard that.
Just you wake up in your tent at night. You're just calling kiss. Just like this guy, like this.
I would probably die of fear.
It might be a raccoon though. Just talking about our previous experience with raccoons. That's all. Stealing our popcorn.
That was terrifying.
And then oh my god, then our phone batteries died.
Okay, we should probably start from the beginning if we're going to say this story.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to go?
We were camping in a pre-made teepee.
Yeah, it was like glamping, kind of. Yeah, it was like a teepee with like a bed on it had a mattress.
In Parcomiga.
Which is like a nature park on the west side of Quebec.
And we had just come from, I think it was Montreal?
Yeah, probably.
We were exploring the city, and then we had gotten some caramel corn from like a local shop.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of, like, which is a shopping bag of like breakfast food or whatever, because we were camping.
Yes.
And we put that in the tent.
Yeah.
And we were outside, I think, like building a fire.
No, but we had it outside on the picnic table, I think.
But then it went into the tent.
Did we put it in the tent and they went in there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I forgot about this.
It was in the tent, and we just somehow
Like
didn't
the teepee,
notice, these animals stealing our bag of popcorn. We didn't even notice until the next day, dude.
Dude, yeah.
We didn't notice the popcorn was missing until we found the remnants of the bag all, like, broken up.
Yeah, but dude, it was really scary.
Yeah, the sounds raccoons make while eating caramel corn.
Dude, but it wasn't. Yeah. It was the sounds, but also so we made the fire, and it got dark.
Yeah.
And we only bought one bag of wood, so I think the timing was really comical, but also really bad because the wood, like the fire started to die, and we had no more wood to add.
Yeah.
So it was getting darker, slowly. We turned around and we were like, "Oh, we should head in." We started hearing like
really freaky
noises.
really
like grunts, like
yeah.
And we turned around and we saw eyes.
Well, we shined a flashlight in the darkness.
That's right. Because
we were like, "What the hell is that?"
We took our phone flashlights.
Yeah.
And shined it at the bushes behind us.
Yeah, and I remember you were like, "I can't see anything," and you're like, "What are those dots?" And I was like, "Cameron, those are eyes."
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so scary.
I think we fully just booked it. I think we just ran away, didn't we?
Well, we saw one pair, and then we saw another pair.
Yeah.
I think we saw like 3 or 4 pairs.
Yeah.
And then we were like, do we make lots of noise? And we started like shouting at them. And,
and then we fully ran away.
We fully ran away while clapping and stuff. Like, make noise.
And then, when we were in the main tent, like the central area of the...
It was like a cabin, yeah.
Yeah, the camping spot.
Close to the car.
Yeah, but we didn't have the car keys.
No, we left the car keys in the teepee, so we didn't have car keys.
And then we were trying to Google, I think, what the hell it could be.
Yes.
And then your phone died, and my phone was still in the tent.
So we had no phone, no internet, no light, because we didn't have a flashlight. We just had the phone flashlight.
Yeah.
And we saw clearly like 3 or 4 animals. Like right outside our teepee.
Although, we did solve it before going back to our main tent. I don't know what we would have done if we just didn't figure out what it was. But we found a little poster in the main tent being like, "We're having a raccoon problem at the moment." And then we were like, oh.
Yeah, it made so much sense. I remember that when it clicked.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it clicked and it was so good.
We were like,
better. Oh, it's just raccoons.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Didn't make it easier, though, to get back to the tent.
When we went back, it was just coals left on the fire. I remember this. We walked back in pitch black.
Pitch black. We didn't have anything. We were, like, screaming at the top of our lungs.
Yeah, we came back in. We went into the teepee, and we're like, okay, what if they, like, jump out at us? Oh man, it was awful.
That was a horrible night's sleep. I didn't sleep very well at all. I remember we took turns waking each other up like, what was that?
Oh my gosh. So funny. Okay, let's get into the actual you don't say facts. Sorry for the tangent. That was my bad.
It's you now.
Oh, that was your right. Oh,
I went. Your
right,
turn.
The noise, the human baby noise that was actually Lynx's. Okay. So, I guess a much less fun fact, but I find it kind of interesting. Brian Mulroney died recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Brian Mulroney was like a prime minister, notable Canadian prime minister. And so I have a cool, I guess I have a couple facts about him.
Nice.
Yeah, and about a couple other prime ministers as well. So, died recently. Of course, we know that. He's getting a state funeral, which is cool. So he was the 18th prime minister of our great nation. He was elected in 1984 and then re-elected in 1988. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, he seems to be what progressive conservatives actually were. And I'll tell you why. Because he actually introduced new taxes. He introduced GST. So the reason that we pay the extra... Yeah, he introduced GST.
That wasn't around before?
No. Oh. GST only came in like late 80s. But his policies were very fiscally conservative and very progressive socially, which is why they're called the progressive conservatives.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And so he introduced GST, but it was to replace MST, which was the manufacturer's sales tax. So there was this hidden tax that was only for like people, for manufacturers.
Oh.
And he decided, okay, we're going to get rid of that to help businesses, but we still need tax revenue because we're the government.
I mean, yeah.
So he introduced a sales tax to the general population. And history repeats itself. I think this is really funny. Because he was a conservative who introduced a new tax.
Okay.
Right? Which is not really on brand for conservatives.
Yeah.
And so there's a little history repeating itself. Chrétien, who was the liberal leader who ended up defeating his government, after. He made his campaign mantra, axe the tax.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was so unpopular. GST was extremely unpopular amongst everyone.
Well, obviously he never did axe the tax.
No, he never did because it made a lot of money for governments. He looked at the bill and said, oh, that's a lot of money. Okay. But yeah, isn't that hilarious? Because like Pierre Poilievre right now, it's like his whole thing is axe the tax. It's like his entire slogan. And funny. He's a conservative trying to beat a liberal. So I find it so funny that before it was the liberal trying to beat the conservative by saying axe the tax.
That is funny.
It's so funny. So they aren't so different after all. You're a politician, right?
Yeah.
So some cool socially progressive policies he had. He was super vocally against apartheid in Africa. And he actually led the effort within the Commonwealth to sanction them. Mandela, like Nelson Mandela, even called him on the phone after his release from prison to thank him and Canada for their efforts.
Oh, that's nice.
He was like a personal friend of Mandela's. Like you could find pictures of them like smiling and stuff together.
That's
it's really
cool.
Yeah. He had some interesting environmental policies, some really good ones, actually.
Good.
Believe it or not, he doesn't seem like a Tory. Like a modern day Tory is not like this at all.
Yeah.
He had really good environmental policies, and he actually pushed the U.S. to sign like acid rain agreements and stuff.
That's really important.
With Canada to make them more environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. He made Canada the first industrialized country to ratify the Convention on Biological Diversity. He also added a lot of national parks, and he passed his government passed both the Environmental Assessment Act and the Environmental Protection Act.
Wow. I can't believe those weren't in place before him.
Yeah. In the 80s, man. In the 80s.
Wow.
Back before like climate change was really like huge thing. Like he was doing
understood.
Good things. Yeah. The other thing he did was he really pushed Canada-US relations, and he was actually the PM that got us the first Canada-US free trade agreement, which then became NAFTA, which happened at the very end of his term. Like NAFTA came in.
Man, he's done a lot.
Mm-hmm. Another big part of him is he was born in a working class town in Quebec, Baie-Comeau.
Okay.
And he was born with Irish Canadian parents. And that helped him a lot with his politics, because if you're not Canadian, you don't know. But in Canada, basically Quebec and Ontario have the most seats in our government. So knowing French is a huge asset. If you don't have the French on your side, it's very hard to get a majority, at least some of them, you know. But he grew up in a like very small, isolated, working class city, and it was like pretty much split between the Francos and Anglos. Mm-hmm. So his parents were Anglo-Irish people, and he grew up with like Franco friends and Anglo friends, and so he knew both languages like fluently.
I didn't realize that, because with a name like Brian Mulrooney, it doesn't sound very French. So that's cool.
Yeah, because I guess both his parents were Irish, right? So
yeah.
He went to uni in Nova Scotia though, and that's where he really got that's where he started his foray into politics kind of thing. He joined a PC group on campus. He joined the debate team, and apparently he never lost an inter-university debate.
That's cool.
He was very good at debating.
Question: do you know what he studied?
Poli-sci.
That checks out.
And law, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
I wrote it down before, and then I thought maybe it wouldn't be useful, so I think I deleted it. But yeah, I think it was poli-sci and
that makes sense.
Law or something.
I find it interesting because sometimes politicians study like something completely off topic from politics per se.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like our current PM was an arts teacher or drama teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always cool seeing where they come from.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he actually was a politician. Yeah. Yeah. And he was a lawyer. I know he was a lawyer as well.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm surprised that more politicians aren't lawyers, like PMs, because like you have to pass laws. Like you have to understand the law to be able to.
Well, the PM technically is part of the legislature, but not really.
I still think it's important to know how it works, though.
Yeah, but they do have like a lot of the legislature. Yeah, you would typically hope they're lawyers, but if they're not lawyers, they have lawyers writing things for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, because isn't it like a lot of FBI agents are lawyers?
Oh, really?
I think, based on all the rom-coms I read.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the most reliable source that I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, also based on the show Sue Thomas FBI, they're all lawyers.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's a thing.
I just love that literally all of your sources are
rom-coms.
I read a couple rom-coms. They have FBI agents. They're lawyers. I watched one TV series and had FBI and they were lawyers.
Well,
No. I mean, like, it is kind of weird though. It would be a funny coincidence if that happened, but
I think it's true.
It's still funny. And another big thing he did was, since he had the Quebec like roots in him, he really wanted Quebec's approval of the 1982 like Constitutional Amendments Act, which was basically the thing that actually made Canada fully separate from England. It was Canada wasn't patriated until 82, which is insane, right? Like,
so many things happened in the 80s.
Right? Yeah. So 82, that was under Pierre Trudeau, like before Pierre Trudeau. He did that, but Quebec never ratified that. Like, they never signed on. So he had two big missteps with that. He did the Amidst Lake Accord, which basically expanded provincial powers, especially related to immigration, because Quebec only wanted like Francos coming in. And then he also recognized Quebec as a distinct society, you know, like a nation in a nation type thing.
Right.
But he failed to get it ratified, and that actually sparked the separatist movement, the second separatist movement of the 90s in Quebec.
Talk about backfiring, eh?
Yeah, it was really bad. And then there was the Charlottetown Accord that came after that as part of the failing of the Meech Lake, but it was also much broader, and it included a lot of the same things. But that also got put to a referendum in 92 and failed.
Got it.
So, as with all PMs, his popularity dropped hard.
Dude, I think all PMs start popular and inevitably end.
Pretty much all politicians, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, like unless you die on the job.
Yeah,
unless Trudeau, he was, I think, loved. Oh, maybe not.
No, I'm not sure. Got voted out eventually, but yeah.
I remember
maybe his popularity wasn't as bad.
His funeral was a big deal though. Like they shipped his body on train across Canada. A bunch of people paid their respect.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Yeah. He was super, super consequential. Same with Mulroney. He was super consequential.
Yeah.
Dude, he was the first one to get his free trade with the U.S. That's crazy.
That's cool.
So, yeah, mainly due to GST, of course, was the really big one. Western alienation, I guess, since he was Quebec, Ontario focused kind of thing, and he went to school on the East Coast. Yeah. So, and, of course, because he invoked a resurgence in Quebec separatism.
Yeah, I mean... Oh,
and so another funny thing was his government was the one where Kim Campbell came in.
Right.
Yeah, Kim Campbell was the first Canadian prime minister who was female. She replaced him for 123 days in 1993 before he just got absolutely smashed by Chrétien in the 93 election. Anyway, I'll stop there and then I'll do more after. But that was it from Mulroney.
Cool. That was cool.
Like, it's interesting, right? Like, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
It's so important today as well. It's the kind of cool thing.
I think it's hard to remember. I mean, we were obviously not alive, so it's harder to remember things that
tell everyone how young we are.
Things that happened when we weren't alive is harder to remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions like subject categories, and then you tell me what you want to hear first. So... do you want to hear about postal service or oil field?
Postal service. Let's go with the postal service. I'm very curious now.
Until 1920 in the US, you could post children.
What?
Yeah. You could just put a stamp on their face or on their clothing or whatever, and they would sit in the postal truck and be delivered.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait. So it was basically Uber, but national Uber. It was like, oh, who needs to call a taxi? I'll just slap a stamp on his forehead and the postman will deliver him.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how that works for lead time.
That's insane. How far could you ship them? Could you ship them cross country? If I was in California, I slap 3 stamps on your forehead and send you over to New York or something.
I'm not sure. I know that people have part of this was part of a collection of people posting themselves facts. And people have posted themselves, but I don't think it would be I don't know. But people did post themselves several hours away.
Post themselves?
Yeah, they wanted to see if they could do it, I think. The weight restriction was fine. They introduced the weight restriction because builders worked out that it was cheaper to ship all of their bricks via the post in batches of...
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh Oh my gosh.
In batches of like, I don't remember anymore
so
the
you just
number.
have postmen in the 20s just like, oh no, not another stack of bricks.
Yeah. Because at first it was a size restriction and they didn't introduce the weight restriction.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to do another one?
Yeah, do another one.
Just because you're
I was talking a lot, so you can go for it.
Okay. There are at least 450 people married to the Earth, like the planet.
Oh, okay.
They're
like
called,
like an official marriage certificate, like
yeah, I think so. They're called ecosexuals.
Okay, that makes it better actually. Like, you know what? I support that name. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and it doesn't extend. It extends to more than just the Earth. So people have also been married to the Moon, the like Appalachian Mountains, and there's even at least one person married to some snow in Ottawa. So
just some snow.
Yeah. So that must have.
Isn't their partner now dead? Like just melted, or is?
Yeah, I mean, how long would that? There's
does
summer.
their partner just live in the freezer year round?
Yeah, I don't.
Just in a Ziploc baggie in the freezer.
Yeah, my partner's in the freezer. People think you're a murderer.
Let me go get my husband. I think you'll love him. Just like pull out a Ziploc bag full of snow.
Little snowman.
Oh God, it's awful. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do some. So my whole fact thing was about Canadian Prime Minister. So that was, I had a big one on Mulroney because he died.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do some quick fire ones.
Okay.
So I'll start with an unhappy one. I'll move to happier ones.
Okay.
So John A. Macdonald's.
Yeah.
Generally considered to be not a good guy amongst most Canadians, at least the ones that I know. He was the first Prime Minister of Canada, of course. A quick fact to confirm that he's not considered a good guy: he established relations with the States in 1864. The Confederate States, as in like the ones who wanted to secede, like the South.
Oh.
Yeah. He allowed Canada to be a refuge for the Confederates who wanted to keep their slaves and flee.
That's very un-Canadian.
Yeah, and that is in fact the reason why he established Canada as a confederation, is in sympathies with the Confederate States of America.
Wow. That's sad.
If you didn't have enough reason to hate John A. Macdonald, there's another one. Okay. Happier ones. Lester B. Pearson was awarded the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize in 1957 for his role in helping the UN resolve the crisis revolving around ownership of the Suez Canal in Egypt.
I associate him in my brain with a polka dot bow tie for some reason.
A polka dot?
I think a bow tie was his like.
Oh, really?
Dress of choice.
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Yeah. But yeah, he won the Nobel Peace Prize, 57.
Yeah,
Apparently, though, it was a bit controversial because Egypt, it was peaceful, but Egypt eventually prevailed over the UK thanks to Pearson, and partly thanks to his negotiating. But some in Canada were really unhappy with that because, of course, we have really close relations with the UK. So,
Yeah.
William Lyon Mackenzie King. Longest ever serving prime minister. 21 years and 5 months.
That's crazy. Especially when you consider that like in the US you can only be president for 8. That's almost 3 times that amount.
I'm pretty sure most, I don't quote me on this, but I would garner a guess. Garner a guess?
I don't think that's the right word.
I would wager a guess. I would wager that most democracies actually have term limits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is weird that we don't.
We don't have term limits.
Yeah.
And it's very strange, but it hasn't been an issue yet, and I don't foresee it will be.
Term limits are good and bad because then they only care about the short term and they don't actually care about long term, like everything.
It's true, yeah, it's true. But yeah, we don't have term limits. Mm-hmm. So he was the longest serving, but yes. So this is the interesting thing. You caught on to something there. Mm-hmm. Since there's no term limits, you can come back whenever and serve as PM whenever. So it was over 3 terms that he had this 21 years. 21 to 26, 26 to 30, and then 35 to 48.
Yeah.
That's 48. 35 to 48 is a huge stretch, man. That's crazy.
Because that's also through the war.
Yeah. Right after, so basically he had all of the clapper years, all of the like happy years, and then all of the depression and the war. Yeah. So he had like the best and the worst.
Yeah.
The longest consecutive period was Wilfrid Laurier. 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years consecutively from 96 to 1911.
That's a big chunk of like life.
Yeah. The shortest period, Charles Tupper.
Yeah.
Served only for 68 days between May and July in 1896.
Didn't he like die?
I don't know if it was because he died.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think it was because he died, no.
Okay.
It was just that he was a big guy, like he's a big honcho, like he was a minister, I think, before, and he had been in government most of his life. And then he took the reins as PM for someone at some point. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
I think it was like one of these temporary, he wasn't meant to be there for long type things in any case.
Okay.
But yeah, 68 days, it's the shortest that's ever been.
Wow. Because I know there's one prime minister who had like some kind of like stomach infection or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and they died right away.
And then this one actually shocked me. So Canada's been a country since 1867.
Yeah.
But the first Canadian-born prime minister only got elected in 1891.
Oh, okay.
And it was Sir John Abbott.
1891. So are we talking about because they have to have been born when Canada was a thing to start with?
That's an interesting question. No.
Oh, okay.
I mean that all the other ones before Sir John Abbott, or I keep saying Sir, they're all Sirs, I think. But anyway, before John Abbott, they were all either born in England or Scotland. Most of them were English or Scottish, yeah.
Oh.
John A. Macdonald was a Scottish.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were English. And so Canada never had an actual person born on the continent, like born on what was now Canada.
I thought that you had meant that they were born before 67, but
no.
that's... Wow.
Yeah, so the first Canadian-born prime minister was John Abbott, and he was from Lower Canada, which is now Quebec.
You said?
Yeah, and he was elected in 91.
Wow.
So Canada...
like, technically he could have been born.
He could have been, yeah.
I don't think... politician.
Actually, do we have age restrictions on who could become PM?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Justin Trudeau was the first one at 43. That was the youngest.
No, I don't think he's the youngest. I think he's the second youngest.
Oh, really? I thought he was the youngest at 43. Oh, well.
Oh, maybe. But anyway, yeah. I know the U.S. I think the U.S. has age restrictions. I think it's like 30, 35, I think.
Weird.
Yeah, which is really strange.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's up to the people, in my opinion, right?
Yeah,
like,
I know,
if you want to elect a 28-year-old, why not?
I know. I was thinking
about...
it
would be a factor.
I was thinking about how it could be parallelized to, like, driving. But, I mean, obviously, like, you can kill people when you drive. But, like...
I mean, you could kill people as a prime minister as well. I don't know. I mean, not really, though.
Or what about the age to vote, though? Like, why is it 18? I mean, I'm sure the teenagers have their own opinion.
I think there's a lot of things centered around you are now an adult. You are now afforded extra responsibilities and privileges.
Yeah, as like a human.
As a human. And we just arbitrarily decided that level of maturity comes at 18, where we can finally allow...
Which is funny.
People to decide things on their own.
What a broad generalization.
Right. It's very funny. I've thought about this before, though, because there's definitely some kids... At least for me, when I was 18, I had the feeling that I was okay with it. I was like, yeah, give it to me. I wish I could vote in the last election.
Yeah, well, we were also in university by then.
Yes. But I still feel that there's people, like early 20s, who just, they're so...
just like everything.
Like, it's so bad.
There's no perfect age.
Yeah, exactly. But there's like the people who develop mentally earlier and later, and then...
I mean, there's also different levels of maturity and critical thinking.
But of course, they can't test everyone and have like this massive database. That'd be horrible. So 18's fine. I think it's fine. You got to do something to make it easier, right? So.
Yeah. Okay, shall I go for a fact?
That was it. That's all mine.
Cool. That was really cool. That was nice. I
enjoyed just some fun,
Also very informative. History and all.
I think the one that actually shocked me the most was the first Canadian-born PM wasn't until 91.
Yeah, wow.
What? Like what? When I read that.
But I mean, the country was rather young, so I can see how it makes sense. But I'm surprised that not even anyone born in the settlements around.
No, they were all English or Scottish. Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, have you ever heard of Nome, Alaska?
I might have, actually. It rings a sudden clash.
So the way Nome was named is in the 1850s, an officer of a British ship was sailing by or whatever, and they were mapping things out, and they noticed a prominent point of land sticking out, and the cartographer guy wrote name beside the land mass.
Oh.
And when this map was being copied by a different cartographer later, they just misread the scribble and labeled it as Cape Nome.
Oh my goodness. So what happened to the question mark?
I mean, I guess they were just like, oh, well.
They just drop it and then...
Can't have punctuation.
So Nome, N-O-M-E.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
then
gosh.
They were upset about this naming, and 50 years later, they were like, please change her name to Anvil City. But there was already a settlement close by to Anvil City called Anvik, and the Postal Service was like, no, this is going to be way too confusing.
Anvil and Anvik. Okay.
So they were like, you gotta keep Nome. But, yeah, so they kept it because of that. And they've embraced it now, though. Their catchphrase is, there's no place like Nome.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was funny.
Oh, that reminds me of that segment we saw in QI where the cartographer just drew an elephant
Yeah.
in the map.
I love that. It's like the equivalent of like a graffiti.
He was just making a map. He got bored and was like, let me just put an elephant in here.
I
And then
love that.
no one knew and no one actually cared because it was just taken as fact that there's just this elephant-like mass there until someone went over and was like, what's going on? It's not here.
Just like all of the notes in the margins of all the monks doing their little sassy comments when they're writing.
That's right.
My hand is tired. I deserve a drink after this.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's
okay,
so funny.
And I'll tell you one more fact. Apparently there's no such thing, like single thing, as a panther.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't realize
Panther's
that.
like an umbrella term, or is it just...
The origins of the word came from Sanskrit originally, and it meant tiger, but then as it evolved, the Greek meaning of it encompassed all beasts. But in terms of science, like now, lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars are all considered panthers.
Whoa.
Yeah, because,
lions.
Yeah, they're the only cats that can roar. Oh, yeah, so...
That is so cool.
Yeah, so when people mention panthers, it depends on... They're referring to different things depending on where they are, like in the world.
Really?
So, like, if you're in Africa or Asia, you say panther, they mean black leopards.
Okay, that's what I imagined.
Yeah. If you say it in South America, they mean black jaguars. And in the States, they typically mean black pumas. But
okay, never mind. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of just like a small black cat thing that's lurking in the trees.
A black puma isn't even a confirmed animal possibility. So...
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is just from cartoons though, right?
Yeah,
I think
I thought that a panther was just like another kind of cat, like a jaguar or a leopard. I didn't realize that it was like umbrella term at all.
Oh, right, yeah. But did you imagine them as black?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because I mean, like the Pink Panther was the thing, right?
Oh yeah, see, but that's like then you could just argue it's a pink leopard or it's a pink lion or it could be anything.
But it's not a lion, of course. The Pink Panther's not a lion.
It's a panther, but a panther's not a thing.
He's not a lion.
Anyway, so I thought that was
cool.
I
thought it was funny. Yeah, I think I imagined the black puma just because of cartoons.
I know, I find
American
it funny.
Cartoons.
Yeah, that a black puma isn't even.
Yeah, that's very funny. That's very funny. Yeah, I just imagine like a black cat in the trees kind of lurking, almost like a jaguar. I think maybe a jaguar more than a puma. I don't know.
I don't think if you put a jaguar and a leopard, I think puma and lion I could distinguish, but I don't offhand know what a jaguar and a leopard look like different from each other. I just imagine them as the same thing.
Oh, look, we'll Google an image after.
Yeah.
And it's time for the quack question.
I love that part.
It's so
Unreasonably so. Okay, it's me who's coming up with the quack question today.
Sure is.
It's kind of like a broad category, and I have a few sub-questions under it.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
But I'm going to start with, If you were... if you were... I just missed...
Okay.
I gave myself a little blah reset there.
Okay.
If you were a stuffed animal, what would you be? And what would your little name tag say? You know, the little name tags that they've got?
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm going to go first. I think I would be a small, little, multicolored rabbit called Sprinkles.
Oh, it's so accurate. Oh my gosh, that's painfully accurate.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that is so painfully accurate. Of course you would. Of course you would. You hit the nail on the head there. Or should I say you hit the nose on the head there?
The nose on the nail.
You hit the nose on the nail. Oh, even better. Even better. Oh man, what would I be? Oh, it's a super good question.
Thank you.
I think... Okay, I had to be creative here. I just don't know. I still think I'd be a bear. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think a bear would suit you.
I think I'd be a bear.
Yeah.
I'd have to be like kind of like I feel like I'd be one of those bigger teddy bears, like the ones you can hug.
I was gonna say I could see you being like a life-size teddy bear.
Yeah, like a child-size like teddy bear.
Yeah.
And I'd be really squishy.
Yeah.
Because I like cuddles.
You'd give really good hugs. You would be called Cuddles.
I could be called Cuddles.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call myself. Yeah, I'll be a big bear called Cuddles. I'm so happy with that.
That's so cute. Okay, and then thinking about stuffed animals, I call them tattoos.
Yes.
Thinking about tattoos, got me thinking about, just imagine if all of the tattoos in your house became the animal that they were the tattoo of. How screwed do you think most people would be? A lot of bears.
I'm just looking over at Suko's bin there. Suko's our dog. I'm looking over at his toy bin. We'd have a sloth, a snowman thing,
a giraffe,
a few bears.
Yeah, ducks.
We'd have a
obviously.
beaver upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh,
dog.
ducks. Yeah, ducks. But okay.
Chicken.
Oh, I just thought of
Yeah, bloody zoo.
Yeah. Okay, you say bloody, and I was gonna say they all have holes ripped in them.
Oh my god! No! These specters of. Oh, that's terrible.
They all turn to life, and all the arms that he's ripped off are actually ripped off, and all the
Oh my gosh, that's so morbid.
He's got holes in the heads of some of them where he's defluffed, and all the brains are just like.
This is way more morbid than I wasn't expecting a zombie apocalypse of tattoos.
Well, at least upstairs we'd have a very nice dog and a beaver.
Dog, beaver. Do we have any other ones? Oh, we have a Canadian goose upstairs.
Oh, yeah. We do have a goose. Yeah,
a goose. That could prove.
A little bernache. Yeah, that'd be funny.
No, but I think most people would be screwed in that they'd have a lot of bears.
Oh, yeah, the bears. The bears for sure would screw everyone over, I think.
Yeah. And then, this is... This is a question that's sort of related to that. I heard it on another podcast, but I'm really curious what you would say.
Okay.
If you were part of the Beast in Beauty and the Beast's castle, and you got transformed into something, what would you be transformed into?
Oh, that's a great question.
Isn't it? I know. It got me really
Do you want to pump the podcast? Where you found this?
Yeah, sure. It was Shag, Married, Annoyed.
Let's go, Rosie and Chris. I knew it was. I knew when you said it, I was like, it's gotta be Rosie and Chris. Yeah. That's an excellent question. That's an excellent podcast, by the way. Go check it out.
Yes, inspiration to this podcast.
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to spend as much time with Cogsworth and Lumiere as possible, man.
I know, but it has to do with your personality, though.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think.
I think for me, I thought of a piano at first, but I don't know if I'm really that clunky. You see my problem?
Do you think pianos are clunky? Or are you thinking of a grand piano?
Yeah, I mean, if it's in a beast's castle, it would be a grand piano.
It would be a big grand piano. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. That is a bit big for you.
Maybe I'd be a ukulele.
A ukulele? Really?
I don't know. Well, what
I
do you think?
feel like you'd be more of a Is there such things like a small harp?
I mean, probably.
I think we've established you'd be some sort of musical instrument. I think we can say that much.
I know. A small musical. I'm a petite human. What?
Oh, you could be an accordion because you speak French.
I am not an
I'm
accordion
joking.
type person. I don't want to be. Ooh, maybe I'd be a little wind chime.
I knew you'd get upset at me calling you an accordion.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, I love you. Oh, wind chime's not a bad one. Okay, I think I would be a frying pan.
A frying pan. Oh, I was imagining you as the full-on oven.
Yeah, just because I'm so big and clunky. Thanks.
Yeah, but you also would have complete control over the cooking of everything. Put a little more heat there. Evenly distribute your heat over in the oven.
Okay, but if I was an oven, I feel like it'd be hard to move around.
You'd think you'd be easy to move around as a frying pan. You'd have no legs.
Yeah. Like you know, like you see the teapots jumping around and like.
So you would just jump around as a frying pan.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be like closer in size to the rest of the cool people, you know?
That's fair. You would make for a good frying pan too. A good cast iron though, I think you'd have to be.
Oh yeah.
Like not
Something
like a little dinky
little heft
one.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think the oven would be cool too. I'd make friends with all the frying pans. I just feel like an oven kind of sits in a corner and doesn't move around much.
The oven character though was funny. I remember.
Oh yeah.
He's like all in a huff. He's all angry. It was funny.
Working overtime.
Yeah.
Not working. No, that's not from Beauty and the Beast.
No, you just said working. I
You're
couldn't help
supposed to
myself.
Be our guest.
Be our guest. Da-dum-bum-bum.
Welcome
to
the
Cheerful Earful.
Earful.
Bum bum bada 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 bum ding.
I love it. I love it. Okay, this is me this week. I'm doing
excited.
the Cheerful Earful. Ready? Are you prepared to be cheered?
I am always prepared to be cheered.
Are you ready to be eared?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm gonna cheer your ears off with the Cheerful Earful. So take that. All right, my Cheerful Earful is apparently doctors across the country can now prescribe nature.
Really?
Yeah. There's like a program that started in, it was a grassroots program that started in the United States at first.
That's really cool.
With the national parks program, like with the national parks, where they would literally prescribe passes to national parks and be like, go for a walk in a national park, go like take in nature. It's really good for you.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then a bunch of countries around the world started adopting this kind of prescribing nature thing.
Aww.
So it started in BC for us. And then spread across, and now it's in all 10 provinces. I don't think it's up in the north yet. It's not in the territories, but...
they probably live more in nature than
we
do.
I would very much imagine so. So including here, you can technically get prescribed a national park pass.
That's really cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's it. That's my Cheerful Earful.
Wow. How did you find this fact?
I forget. I think I actually went looking for a Cheerful Earful this time. I feel like I usually run into them like on CBC or like my news feed, but this time I actually went looking for one because I hadn't found a good one. And I saw it on just some website just saying
That's really cool.
Like I think they had just hit all 10 provinces or something now. And
how has no one else known about this?
I don't know.
This should be more common knowledge here.
Yeah, I had no idea. But apparently so. I think the model for it's a bit strange because you do it through a private organization. Like the doctors have to be registered with them.
Got it.
And then they can prescribe you pass. I have no idea. It's no cost to the patient though in any case. So you can actually prescribe nature. Yeah.
That's really good.
Dude, if I was a doctor, I'd be like, yo, here, take a national park pass, go for a walk. Let's go. Well,
yeah, literally every patient needs nature.
Dude, I'd be like, here, grab a bike, take this park pass, get out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That made me really happy. I loved that idea because, like, honestly, people don't get out enough. I think nature's awesome.
Everyone knows that being out in nature is like super important to health, and like just being 2 hours in nature in a week, no matter the length of duration. Like if it's 1 2-hour chunk or like 10. Oh, 2 hours divided by 10 isn't great. 12-minute chunks.
Whoa, you did that really fast. That was really good.
It gives you the same benefit. And it's like super healthy for you.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know what? Tangent about nature.
Yeah.
The fact that we even call it nature is sort of insane. I think I read this a while ago, but it's a very recent-ish phenomenon in terms of like human history to actually separate nature from non-nature. The idea that we're not part of nature is not always been a thing. In fact, it's very recent in human history.
That makes sense, I guess.
There was never actually nature, non-nature. It was all nature, and we were just part of it.
Do you have like a time period? Because I imagine it must be the start of like the big cities is what I imagine separation starts in.
Yeah, I'd also imagine industrialization and factories and stuff is probably when that separation started to happen. I have no idea. Wow. I think I just read that somewhere. I don't even know if it was from a reliable source, but it made a lot of sense to me when I read it. It makes
sense when you think about it, yeah.
Kind of weird, eh? Anyway.
I know.
Yeah, but that was it, eh? So prescribe nature. Go for a walk.
Yay!
Everybody listening, go for a walk.
Yes, hug a tree.
Hug a tree. Yes, exactly.
And that concludes episode 3.
Yeah, I can't believe we've done 3 of these already. That's actually really exciting.
I know. I'm excited to ask you all of my banked quack questions.
I have one in the bank that's really good. I'll get it on the next week's own.
Yeah.
Next episode. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
This teaches patience.
What?
This teaches patience.
Yeah, I know. My doc was full of a bunch of things. I'm glad I got a few of them out today.
I know. Me too.
Dude, awesome facts. Dude, your quack question today was sick.
Thanks.
It was very good.
I can't take credit for all of it, but the first part I can.
It was really good, though. It was really fun. I like the idea of being a bear called Cuddles. And you're just like Sparkles. On the
Sprinkles.
Sorry, Sprinkles, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Sprinkles.
Sparkles isn't bad either, though, to be fair.
Martine just shot me like the most evil eye ever when I said Sparkle. I'm sorry, I meant Sprinkles, okay?
Evil eye while saying Sprinkles. Only I can pull this off.
Yes, small but mighty.
I enjoyed your PM facts. That was really cool.
Yeah, man.
Hey, plus you're wearing red. He's wearing a red t-shirt, everyone.
And you're wearing white. Whoa!
Whoa!
High five!
But you just looked extra Canadian while saying it because there's the red added into it.
Okay.
Okay, you don't sound Canadian when you do that.
All right, buddy. Let's wrap her up.
Yes. Well, if you have any quack questions of your own you want to ask us.
Yes, or any stories, comments, anything. Literally anything.
Yeah, please email us at
thosecrazyweirdospodcast@gmail.com.
Or check out our website at www.thosecrazyweirdos.ca.
Or .com.
Both work.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you.
Yes.
What are we doing now? I'm going to eat an apple.
Oh, I'm going to have a tea, and I'll probably eat an apple with you. Why not? That sounds good.
I haven't finished the tea that we started the podcast with. Have you finished your tea?
Of course. Dude, what are you talking about? This is years ago.
Unbelievable. That's so much liquid. Anyways, we're going to eat a snack as usual.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.